Okay, you're rich from roofing. What do you do now with the money? I've got Tony Flattum on from Built Strong here in Minnesota. Tony,
Yes,
you started investing in properties when you were a sales rep.
I did.
What are the things that you're suggesting now for your sales reps that starting to get rich? And when you're, your first couple of years being rich, it's even just a $50,000 extra, $200 extra $1,000. So what are you suggesting that they do once they start to get some money?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone's always out there getting sales to start making some money, but then they just look at things the wrong way. They want to go to that watch, or they want to go to the Lamborghini, go to all these things first and start buying the fun stuff. But you should actually wait, and you should actually look at buying in an investment that can pay for that stuff. So if you can shift your mind to making sure that you can buy a property and buy one or two properties to start passively income coming in, to where now you use that money to pay for your fun stuff. You don't want to take your earned income and buy these things. You want to make sure you invest it first, because then every single month that money's coming in, to where if you have these nice things and it's paying for itself, you sell those nice things, now you're just making even more money because you got rid of that bill, and you're making more money on the passive income. And then keep making your money and invest it, and then live off the passive income.
And we're talking to small business owners who also are starting to get a little bit of money. I think it's anxiety producing when all of your income is coming from a roofing company, and the ups and downs of the market, the ups and downs of storms and non-storms. And we see a lot of people making dumb decisions with that money. And that honestly is like a little bit of a reputation of the industry, is people kind of YOLOing money out on stuff that maybe they don't have the backing for that, or if it was one good year, one really good year. So, but with the sales rep thing, what to you is like once you're starting to get a little like, they have this much in the bank, they should probably get it out of the bank because it's going down in value, right?
Yeah, so I mean, anything really over $50,000 if you have in your bank is what you want to get into, like a money market or something, to at least have that, at least drawing some interest off your money. That's kind of the minimum amount that most banks are going to require to have a money market account, or where you're drawing, like right now it's 4.9% is what you're getting back on your money in the bank just for having a money market.
So let's do like a stair step up from like the low. So you shouldn't have it as cash in the bank, especially over 50K. So you'd go at least money market account, get that 4.9.
Yep.
Stair step me up. What's your next move? I know that when you're a rep, you did a duplex almost by accident. You were going to live in half of it. Tell me that story real quick.
Yeah. So I mean, for back when I started getting into sales in 2003, had a very good year, started to get a lot of money over that winter into 2004. All of it started to roll in. So I was like trying to figure out, we were renting an apartment, and I was looking at buying something where I wanted to put money to work and at least not spend it on something stupid. I want to be careful with it. So we were looking at a duplex to buy, to move in one half, and then the other half rent it out. So I mean, my rent would be kind of pretty much covered, and I have a property that I can grow with some money. So I did that. What I did is I bought the property, and the person that I bought it from was like, well, hey, we're building a house, and they asked me if they could live in there for another 6 months until their house was done. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I can keep renting where I'm at, and I'll just delay for 6 months. No big deal. And when they were in there renting and the other person was in there renting, I got the visual of actually paying all the expenses and then getting $500 a month coming in free and clear back in 2004.
What is that, like $1,500 nowadays money?
Probably, yeah, at least. I mean, that was a lot of money back then,
Yeah.
$500. I mean, coming in every single month without having to do anything. And I put money down on the property, and the property doubled over time. So when I started to see that, going, well, geez, I have this property I hung on to, and I just actually sold that property back in 2020, 2021, or whatever it was. I sold that property for well over double what I paid for it. They paid it off, the mortgage. I mean, the renters did. I was making money on it every single month. And you start doing that, it's like, buy more.
So there you buy more. Okay, so money market. I mean, probably a stair step in there might be like stocks, like stuff, and they go up and down. But out of average, it's like it's been like 17% the last couple of years. But stocks generally over the course of time 7-8% on average. So that might be the next one up, and then A little duplex could be the next one.
I would even do it sooner. I mean,
You do duplex before stocks.
Yes, I would.
And, okay, so stocks, and then somewhere in there stocks if you want them, but you don't do. Maybe you don't do that much in stocks.
So I do now.
Okay.
I probably first bought into stocks. My very first time was probably back in 2017, 18.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool that you did.
I've never, because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to. I just throw my money in there, and I always heard the '08, the crash, and everyone lost their money.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of freaked out about stocks.
Yeah.
But real estate, you can at least control that. It's your property. You can go and touch it like it's yours. You own it, and it's going to go up in value. And they're going to pay your taxes. They're going to pay your insurance. They're going to pay the mortgage, and then you're going to make money on it as well. So there's a lot more write-offs and benefits of owning properties. I only do stocks now because I have extra money to kind of throw around to throw into those things to kind of just spread it out a little bit. But no, real estate has been the gold for me. Like, I mean, buying properties has been the lifesaver.
Let's go up a level from the duplex. What would be your next move if, let's say maybe what you did and after you had the duplex for a little while, or what you might suggest if somebody has more than 50,000 ready to spend, what would be your next move?
Yeah. Well, I would definitely jump to a fourplex, like I mentioned to you when we were offline here. I mean, I bought the duplex. That's what I knew because I was going to move in half of it. I got a little taste of the real estate game. So I bought the duplex, and then I bought a bunch of other single-family homes and did that little run for a while.
You wouldn't suggest the single-family?
I wouldn't. I mean,
BlackRock will be competing with you?
Yeah. I mean, you can make money on single-family, but the only thing that scares me on single-family is that you're going through the process with a bank to buy a property, and if you can buy a fourplex or an eightplex, you're going through the same paperwork, the same process to buy one door or 4 or 8 doors. And when you have somebody that moves out in a single family, because I've done it. I've had single family homes. I bought a bunch of those, and then I bought some duplexes and then some fourplexes. And as I went on with my journey, I looked back and I realized, like, whenever someone moves out of that single family, you're having to go in there and paint, you're having to go in there and do carpet, you're having to fix up things, you might be down for a month or two. Well, all the money that you made in that year for the profit goes back towards fixing the place up, and then also not having rents for 2 months. You lose a lot of the profit because it's not occupied. So having a fourplex minimum, I would jump to a fourplex, because when one person moves out or two even move out, that mortgage is still paid for, the taxes are still paid for. You're never having to go into your pocket for anything. And when it's full, you're even making that much more money because you have one loan and 4 doors that are paying you. And if one moves out, you're always safe. That's why the bigger you go, the more safe net you have.
What about Airbnb and other types of short-term or long-term rentals?
Yeah, it's just a different model, right? I mean, there's good money.
Rentals.
Yeah, there's good money into it, but there's more turnover. There's more cleaning. There's more expenses. There's more marketing to get it rented.
So you like it when it's like 8 months and you haven't touched a thing?
I love it when it's a year and I don't touch anything, put no money into it, just buy it and park money there for a year or 2 years, 5 years, and then money goes up every single year. They're paying all your taxes, they're paying the mortgage, and you're putting money in your pocket every single month.
And tax write-offs, right?
Huge write-offs.
All right, so what would be your next move from there? Is there anything else, or do you recommend against commercial properties right now? What else are you kind of into as far as investments?
Yeah, so I own storage units. I've owned multifamily apartment buildings. I own office complexes. I own senior living complexes. I own fourplexes. Kind of a wide variety of stuff.
And out of all those, what's one other thing that you might consider? If somebody was, let's say, they've already had their 5 fourplexes or whatever.
Yeah, I would look at maybe buying into more businesses.
Okay.
Being an investor, buying into some more businesses to where I'm getting people that are calling me, wanting me to like give me ownership in their company to come in and help them tweak it and grow it. And you can get in there and give your knowledge of 20 some years of being in business and grow that company and make some money.
Have you done any deals like that?
I'm in the process of doing that right now.
That's really cool. Roofing company or different company?
Roofing companies,
yeah. Wow, that's sweet. Well, I love to hear that. I guess I'm just I'm always in awe of you and what you're doing with this stuff. I'm learning from it. And I think, I'm sure at some point, somebody out there, whether it's a rapper or a business owner, you may have thought to yourself, this isn't as relatable anymore because maybe you can't even fathom maybe you can't even fathom getting to this point. But at a certain point, it does start to snowball, would you say? Or
Absolutely. You just got to start. I mean, that's what I always tell everyone, like, don't look at the bigger picture where everyone's at today. Just look at a starting point, get a plan together. And I always lay out a plan telling everyone too, like, hey, what would $10,000 a month do for you coming in without having to earn it? Or like passive income. Oh, it'd be everything. It'd be awesome. Well, that's only 5 deals away, right? I mean, you buy a fourplex now and you can make $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Well, buy one of those, work it out, get the details, feel good about it, roll into another one. You buy 5 of those, that's 10 grand a month coming in passively without having to go to work, without having to do anything. They're paying your mortgage, they're paying the insurance, they're paying everything. You get tax write-offs, plus you're making 10 grand a month. And then I always tell everyone, once you get to that point, do it again. 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. Just keep doing it every single year, trying to buy more properties to get to a level that you want to get to.
how much will a bank allow you to get, like more mortgages or commercial loans or whatever at a time? How many will they allow you to have?
Unlimited.
Really?
If you're in commercial,
Yeah.
I think 7 is the number for like single family.
Yeah.
But if you're in commercial, they want to give you, if you're paying your bills.
And commercial is any multifamily over
Anything over pretty much 4 or 5 units.
Okay.
Anything over that
That's pretty
is commercial. Cool. Office complexes are the same thing. I mean, you get into that as commercial. But yeah, I mean, anything that you get into, banks are going to want to loan you the money. It actually gets easier the bigger you go because the risk is less. Because they know, like...
Yeah, you can take your other ones.
Yeah, well, because you think about it, like you have an 80-unit property.
Yeah.
Well, crap, 10 of them move out. There's still 70 people paying you, and you're making a shit ton of money on that.
Yeah.
You know, to where it's like, why wouldn't you not want to go bigger? So I've always been trying to do bigger and bigger deals, and it's banks are just like, what else do you want? What else do you want? Like I call them, they're like, we'll loan you as much as you want because we know that you've been doing this for a long time. You pay your bills, the rents are there. You're a professional real estate investor, which they consider now anything over 750 hours of looking at real estate or walking properties or buying properties you can have in your tax code for a real estate professional investor, and you get a way different tax bracket rate.
Incredible.
So my CPA did that for me early on because I was walking homes and getting on roofs and doing inspections, plus looking and buying properties. So I did it early on. Didn't even know about it, but that saves you quite a bit because you can write off a lot more items when you're a real estate and professional investor.
Any more quick hitter tips like that you've found have been useful for you?
Yeah, I could kind of give you at least something to kind of look for. Like you mentioned, that next little level to shoot for. And this is something I learned from one of my investing real estate groups that I'm part of, is like a 32 unit is kind of the magic number. And I'll explain why. Like I'll show it, and you can probably do this on your video and do like a little drawing board, or at least do the numbers. But for the sake here, we can just kind of do, so 32 unit complex. And if you can find a property that's underneath, like they're below rents, like somebody that has a property that maybe had it for 10 years, 15 years, needs a little bit of fixing up to like touch up on the paint or siding or exterior work or whatever to make it look nice. If you can figure that all the rents are around, if this one's below, like say it's $1,000 a month per unit for a 32 unit, and you can figure out how you can get to a $200 a bump per unit over time, I'll show you what it does with the valuation. So like you have a 32 unit, so you take 32 times $200 per unit, a rent, that's an extra $6,400 a month in passive income, right? Times 12 for the year, that's $76,000 coming in extra by buying that deal that was below market rents. You bump that up. Now what that does for the valuation for the property, because I mentioned to you about the banks, they look at the valuation of the property you buy over 5 units or above based on what's coming in for rents. So just that building alone you buy times 0.06, let's see here, you got 32 times 200 equals times 12, and then you go divide it by 0.06. That gives you a $1.2 million valuation extra. So say you bought the property for $5 million, now it's worth $6.2 million by just finding that and raising the rents $200. And you can do that over a year, you can do it over 3 years, But when one person moves out, you go in there and fix it up, paint it, make it look nice. The going rate around the neighborhood and in the area is 1,200. Raise it to 1,200 or even 1,150 and kind of slowly go up. But it could be a 2-year play, a 3-year play, or that you're way below market. You can go in there when they move out, up that rent. Now that's set. Now the next one moves out, raise that rent, get everyone in that unit, 32 units up. That's $1 million that you can pull back out. And the best thing about that is that you have that property, the loan's taken care of and it's paid for itself. Now you can go to the bank and they're gonna loan you 80% of that money. So you can pull $1 million back out tax-free.
Incredible.
And then you can put that money to work somewhere else and then do it again. That's how the rich get rich. They take their money off of their properties, they raise rents, they pull it back out tax-free, invest it into another property, they're multiplying their money.
Huh.
And so when I learned that 10 years ago, I've been following that process.
That's incredible. Talk to me about, as you've done a little bit of stocks, just because I want this to be comprehensive on different types of investments. What kinds of companies are you investing in?
Yeah, so right now, I pretty much go through Avantex is the big firm that I'm using, and through my CPA. He's the one that said, hey, you should really look into some stocks and put some extra money into here so you can diversify a little bit. And so, I threw some money in there, and I've been throwing more and more.
They're choosing the stocks for you. You're not choosing.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything about stocks. So for me,
I like to think I do sometimes.
Yeah, and some people
I like the Warren
the
Buffett method, which is just find 8 to 10 stocks for companies you believe in, and that you maybe even use. I'm happily a Beacon investor.
Oh yeah.
And they've given us back in the last year, it's gone up 40%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, 2020 went down to 15, and then now it's up 86. I follow that one too, but
just I think that was I like the way he talks about that, companies you believe in, and I like the longer term, non-sexy companies.
Yeah, there's always a huge score if you can follow and stick to certain things. But for me, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a stock expert, but I count on the people that are, my CPA uses a firm that does all their stuff for all their people, and they've been really good and successful. And I've used my CPA for about 14 years now, so I'm
listen to him, not me, guys.
Yeah, I trust him, and so I just throw some chunks of money over there and let it sit. They kind of spread it out through all the different things that they are seeing through their whole firm, what they're making money for. And I watch it grow. It's up and down daily, and I look at it some days, I'm like, oh crap, it's down a lot. And then the next week,
last Monday,
it's crazy. We're down 1,000 points.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus. But you just don't get freaked out and don't pull the stuff out, because it always rebounds. Yeah. Even when it goes way down and everything crashes, the next year it goes back up again.
Well, Del Medico on last Monday, it was the recession is officially here. That. And everyone was disagreeing and agreeing. But then a week and a half later, it's literally higher than it was or something. So it's just interesting how that happens. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the moment.
Well, they always say that there's 4 points throughout the year, 4 times they only invested. Every other time it's always up and down, but there's 4 times a year where it spikes, which makes it average out to an 8, 10%, 12% over the year. And if you're going in and out all the time trying to plan that, it's hard. If you just leave it in there and just know that it's going to be that 5 to 8, 10%, and sometimes more if you leave it in there. But you don't want to put all your money that you have into that. I would invest into real estate has been the number one thing for me. It's literally, I could have retired 5 years ago on my real estate alone. But I just keep doing the roofing thing because I love it, and my team is growing, and I'm helping them out. And so now what drives me is to keep going back in to work with those young studs that I can help and say, do this and do that, to be able to not blow their money on stupid things. Just be patient. And I don't even know where I got that from, because my family, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. I didn't have no mentors. I didn't have no business in our family to where we knew how to manage things, but I was always just not wanting to spend it. When I first got in, I was watching everyone buying Rolexes. And I'm like, I'm going to get in sales, I'm going to make a lot of money and buy a Rolex. Well, I made a lot of money that year. I didn't buy a Rolex. I literally bought my first Rolex in 22. Well, I waited that long.
That's crazy.
And I just got that duplex, started seeing money, and I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. So I got addicted to buying properties, and I waited. I was patient to where I just, everything I was making, pay myself a salary, making money in the business, taking it and then investing in the properties, to which now I'm getting paid a lot of money on monthly per real estate, passive income, to where now I'm buying all the stupid fun stuff with a passive income.
So properties,
Yeah.
stocks, companies, Rolex, Lamborghini.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when you can buy that stuff without having to work for it, that's wealth.
Yeah.
And that's financial freedom for me, because my number was always like, hey, I want to make 10 grand passively. Did that. Then it's 20,000 a month. Then it's 30,000. You just keep writing those numbers down and keep stacking it up to where, you have a ton of money coming in over the, each month, if I go to work or not.
Do you have any resources, podcasts, or anything that you listen to or read that you could share with our audience to keep on brushing up on this stuff?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of Tony Robbins. I mean, and then also, what was it? Not Jim Rohn. There was.
I think his book was Unshakable, the short money one, which is really good. I think.
Yeah, and
he was talking about like making sure your financial person isn't a fiduciary and stuff like that. Anyways.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of cool little books. I mean, the Tony Robbins ones with the money game, that was a big one. Goes through a lot of different buckets to put your money. Profit First. It was a good one. I can't remember who the title.
Mike Michalowicz.
Yeah, that was a good one. Telling you on the buckets to put money in certain areas and invest it first, but
first you gotta have money, guys. You gotta increase your income. First, you gotta increase your income, and that means one more door. And that means, and by the way, that's the sales training that's coming up at Hook Agency very soon.
Yep.
I think it's September 17th.
18th.
18th.
Yep.
September 18th at Hook Agency. Check it out. But also, how to increase your income in the meantime. Any last little tips or encouragement for, let's say this was your sales guys listening to this or watching this?
Yeah, well, for one, I mean, we tell all of our sales guys in our company to write down their PPFs, which is their personal, professional, financial goals. We have everyone write down their 1, 3, and 5-year plan. And so when they write that down, we try to help coach them to get there. And then they want to make a certain amount of money. I mean, we lay out and just have for them, okay, you want to do $200,000 this year, $100,000, whatever the number is. You figure out what the average job is, how many jobs you got to sell in the calendar year to get there, and lay out a plan for them. And then we hold them accountable to where we have to do always better at it, but our sales managers are out there talking with them, trying to get them like, hey, this is not me micromanaging you and pushing you. Like, you want to buy this cabin, or you want to buy this house, or you want to buy this car, or whatever your thing is. Our guys are pushing them, saying, this is your goal. I'm holding you accountable. So, I mean, you can be mad at me by pushing you and holding you accountable to hit certain numbers, but we want to drive you towards those numbers so you can be where you want to be in the end. So it's finding out what your employees want and then helping them get what they want, and then you'll get what you want. And we put them first, and then we get what we want, because we help them get to where they want to be.
And it sounds like, as a rep, really setting these goals, really holding yourself accountable for breaking down larger goals into smaller goals and pushing on those, and just getting a little bit better every year, right?
Yeah, I mean, in any business, I mean, obviously I'm in the roofing game, so that's what I know, but I mean, when you know how much you can make off each job, and you can do 65 of those a year or 150 jobs a year, whatever that number is, you can work and you can write your own paycheck by getting out there and getting after it. But it takes massive action to get massive results. So if you're putting in the time and getting out there and doing it, it's no secret sauce. I mean, people know what they can make on selling a roof, but they all want to come in and say, hey, I want to make 200 grand a year by selling 13 jobs. Well, you're not going to make 200 grand by selling 13 jobs. Like, you got to do the volume. You got to sell the jobs. Look at where your commission's at, what you can make. Like, we are off the gross now, to where we show, like, you do 1.5 million in sales, you're going to make 150 grand, 10%. Like, and you have different tiers based on where they're at in their level. So it's like, you'll make 150 grand, sell 1.5. You can do that in 2 months, 6 months, or a year. You sell 1.5, you're going to make 150. And so it's out there for everyone to go and get it. So the ones that want to go get it, like the Dans, right? Dan Walrack. The guy knows what he wants to make. He goes out there and sells 3 to 5 million a year, and then the big year he did 18.5 million. I mean, the dude made a crazy amount of money.
And if you're watching this and you're not part of the roofing industry, why aren't you? No, but there's a lot of opportunity
it's a fun game.
for folks that hustle, for sure. And I think if you're that type of person that knows you can hustle, I would say door to door and or home service and roofing sales are pretty good spots to really push into. And you don't even have to be like, you didn't have to go to a lot of college or anything like that to be able to make $150,000. How does that sound to you? Check it out. Check out One More Door. Thank you very much, Tony.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So
appreciate it. And check them out. Where can they find you online?
Yeah, just go to, well, for myself, Tony Flattum. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but then look up One More Door.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. See you later.